Welcome to your reset with Christian Piano, where the purpose is to support you in releasing all that you are not, so the truth of who you really are can emerge. This is accomplished through working with the body-mind from an ontological perspective. We use various modalities to support you in supporting yourself exactly where you are, so that you may return to an experience of wholeness and ease, moment by moment. Deep reflection is one of the greatest tools through which to do this. To take a moment, to pause, assess, reflect, and literally and figuratively reset, come back to center, and move back into your one and precious life with increased clarity and purpose.
Hello and welcome back. I'm Christian Piano. And as you may have noticed, there has been a longer pause than usual since we last met in episode 105. And that silence, that pause, was intentional. This special episode required a different kind of breathing room, a slow fermentation, if you will, to truly settle into the form it needed to take. But before we descend into a wine cellar today, I would like to check in with you in our last conversation. We spoke about the intelligence of the pause and the somatic necessity of wintering. I'm curious, how have you made use of this extra breathing room over the last 2 weeks? Perhaps you could take a moment to pause and reflect, take a mental note, or write this down. How have you been wintering? Where have you allowed your own life force to pull back to the core? And what has started to settle into that quiet? I ask because this episode is a direct extension of that stillness. A few weeks ago, while I was walking amongst the wintry hills of Piemonte, clearing my body-mind and reflecting, baby step by baby step, I looked out at the vineyards, lying what I call winter shavasana. If you haven't listened to episode 105, that term might sound unfamiliar, and so I invite you to listen to that reflection to get the full context. And so in that stillness, I had what I like to call a pop-through. I realized that so many of us savor a bottle of wine, but we are often completely removed from the human story behind it. We forget that behind every harvest, there is a person navigating the same unknowns, the same fatigues, joys, and same seasonal shifts that we all face in our own growing seasons. And so I wanted to attempt to bridge that gap. So I reached out to a new friend. His name is Alessandro Negro, a fifth-generation winemaker who lives the bridge between high-level science and the raw unpredictability of the elements. Alessandro has spent years immersed in the rational worlds of chemistry and biology. He has the data and the science, and yet, through hard-earned experience, he has learned to bow to the elements that he cannot govern. There is no ego here. He is a man who has been humbled by the uncontrollable, and yet he remains remarkably whole. He isn't interested in the shout of an algorithm, but he is interested in the whisper of a real encounter. Like everything I create, I wanted to bring you the unfiltered, raw, and real. There was no script, no preparation, just two people sitting down at a bar on a damp resonant air of a wine cellar to converse about life and being a human being. We literally had no idea what would come through. And I think you'll find that his reality, this blend of high-level intelligence and radical quiet acceptance, is a profound mirror for the perspective we may all be trying to maintain in our own lives. And so I'll leave you now to listen to what unfolded, and I'll meet you on the other side. Enjoy!
Hello and welcome. I'm Christiane Piano, and for today's special episode with Alessandro Negro, we are actually in the wine cellar of Poderi Roccanera in Cossano Belbo in the hills of San Pietro. So welcome, Alessandro.
Hello, everybody. Hello, Chris. Thank you for this occasion to talk about a little bit of myself and a little bit what we do here in the winery. Well, let's start from who I am and what I did since now. So I am the owner now of this family winery. I represent the fifth generation of this winemaking lifestyle, let's call it, and I'm very proud of it, and I'm very happy about it. That's one thing to state at the beginning because I like what I do. I studied this kind of field in my youth, so. Since I was 14 till 20, in Italy we have this school that is called Scuola Enologica, so winemaking high school, we can call it in English, where you start very early to study about chemistry, biology, and then you focus on the chemistry of the wine and the biology of the soil of the wine or whatever is connected to the wine world. It's really focused into winemaking. So not really selling, not really economics, not really anything else like marketing, for example. You do a little bit of this, but the focus is really winemaking. So after that, I had the opportunity to study also a little bit in France, since we were talking about France earlier. So I had 3 months of school in Bordeaux area. So that was a really, really huge experience for myself, and both into the wine field and as a human being. So I can really say now, I'm 31 years old, can really say now that that experience made me want to do maybe really open my eyes, as we can say, about the wine field. Before, of course, my family, my tradition, my history about our winemaking experience led me a little bit, as we can say, was a little pushed by that. Of course, I was aware about what we had at home, but probably I wasn't so convinced at 100%, let's say like 70%, 65, 70%. After France, I was like, we can, in biology, nature, you can never say you're 100% sure of something. So let's say 99%, being honest with what I studied for the whole of my life, you know. So from there, I was really sure about was what I was doing and what I was studying. So I kept on going because 17 I had still 3 years on my high school. So I finished it, I graduated, and then I went to university. Before university, so before high school and university, I worked a little bit in London with a wine importer. So
Is that where you learned your English?
Yes and no. Well, in London, yes, it was a very nice experience. I learned my English because I had a Dutch girlfriend back then. So
perfect way to learn a language.
So I was obliged to speak in English or Dutch, which is way worse than English. So English was was better for both of us. So that was my first experience about English language. In London, I had the proper, let's say, the proper English experience, even if I was living with a Slovakian and Sri Lankan family, so the accent wasn't proper English, let's say, from England. But it was really nice. So after England, after London, I went to university. So 3 years in university, and at the end of it, a little more experience in the US, so in California, where I learned more Spanish than English over there. So the language is so I cannot say I'm fluent in Spanish because I'm not, but I can understand it quite well. So that was because I was surrounded by Mexicans all over my time working in the wineries in California, in Napa Valley. So it was a very nice experience about winemaking, and of course living in a so open-minded country such as California. So I was really happy about it. I really enjoyed my time there, but I'm sure I could live there for like 5-6 years, but then I will have had the feeling to want to come back to Italy. So because it's so similar but so different in the same time, California and Italy. So by the way, France was a place that I could say I would have lived there the whole of my life, for example. Not in London, not in California, but France, yes. But nothing is better than your home when you have one, or you feel you have one, because it's all about feelings, It's all about that. So afterwards, I decided to put all my efforts, all of my 100%, let's say my soul, into this family winery, into trying to make it grow. Because when I started working here, it was 2018. So when I graduated from university in 2018, we were producing like 10 to 15,000 bottles per year. The majority of the grapes we were producing, we were selling. So we weren't really independent, but I couldn't blame my father. My father started everything with my uncle together, so Renato and Lino, which you know quite well about. And from farmers, they started to do the wine business. So that was a big jump, So it was really, really brave to do, with starting from zero, basically. And so I had already something started, so a little bit easier than starting from completely zero, no? So now is 2026. We are producing 50 to 60,000 bottles per year.
Just a little bit of growth.
Just a little bit, yeah. We are growing now. So in the background there are some noises of working men, because we are making the winery a little bit bigger. So we are all very proud of it. But it's of course not super easy, and not every time is easy, because of finance, because of economics, because when you export your wine all over the world, you are into the market. So it's not something you can really govern. You can really take decisions that then they work afterwards. So you try to do your best. Sometimes is enough. Sometimes is great. Sometimes it's not enough, but you did your best anyway. So you can't blame yourself because of that. There are other reasons, other things that made it go that way,
Right.
let's say.
So, before we go down that path, when I was walking amongst the hills and looked at the vineyards in this winter season, even though we're coming towards the end of winter, and I'm new to this area, right? And I thought about how many people love to open a bottle of wine. They go to a store, they order a bottle of wine. Maybe they don't even have to go to a store anymore. They just click online and it's delivered to them. And there's something around that came up for me of there's a lot of life behind that bottle. And I thought of you. And I decided to reach out to you. And when I proposed to you to do a conversation via Zoom, you said to me, I'd prefer to do it in person.
Yeah.
And this is the first time I'm doing a conversation in person. Well, because I can get to you within, a half an hour time. So that helps. But that said, I would love to hear you talk a little bit about being in a world of growing desires for convenience and you choosing a job. You're in a different generation than me. We're not going to talk about age differences. It doesn't matter. But in listening to you talk about your history, there's a lot of similitudine. I just said an Italian word. There's a lot of similarities. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
In our lives, and the connection of being 17 and being in France, and my experience of 17 and being in France, and your experience in London, and your girlfriend from Bulgaria, and not Bulgaria, your girlfriend from
Holland.
Holland. You lived with a family with a connection to Bulgaria. Is that where you mentioned it?
No.
I'm wondering where this is coming up.
I don't know.
Never mind. Let's put the Bulgaria aside. We said these conversations are raw and real. You're seeing how my mind is and my memory. Okay, nonetheless. If I think about what I'm discovering about this region, this little tiny spot in Italy, it's known for wine.
Yeah.
And it's one of the few areas in Italy who hasn't been rampaged by tourism.
Not yet.
Not yet. And there's this quality of life that still has a human quality to it, human connection. There's a simplicity to it. When I mean simplicity, I'm not downgrading it. It's actually, I think, the return to living in a simple way and being connected to the earth is something that resets us, rejuvenates us, and reminds us that each day is so very precious. We don't know how long we're going to be here for. We all know eventually we're not, and we don't know when that day is going to come. And it's not like we hone and moan about that, right? But it is a reality that the human being has to grapple with, and it shows up in all sorts of ways. But you've chosen to do this work connected to the earth where there's so much that is out of your control.
Yeah, well, I was talking about markets and the fact of selling that is not under your control. But if we think about nature, so the bottle of wine is something already done. So it's something already processed, bottled, sold, opened, and drunk. The making not of the wine but of the grapes is really something that it's difficult, and you need expertise about it, and you need luck, basically, because you can do, as I said before, you can do everything right, but if the hail come the day before the harvest, then that destroy your harvest. So, you learn. Well, it's a little bit. I don't want to disrespect anybody because I feel young and I think I'm young. So saying I learned something means something, makes me feel old in some ways,
You're saying it from a very humble place.
Well, it's because, you have I just started basically doing this job, not even 10 years, so I don't have so much experience. But what I can say is you learn to not take something too personal sometimes, because if you do, then it's just on you. So you cannot govern what the weather is going to be, what the weather wants. So if you want to put it as God decided to make hail come down and destroy my grapes, you can put it that way. You can put it simply as scientific facts. You can put it all the way you want to justify and to be less angry about it. But you have to accept it. at the end. Otherwise, you will never be able to survive this thing or to go on, because it's something that the faster you learn, the better you will be, and also the better you can make good wine, and the better way you can make good wine. So let's say the first 2-3 years experiencing this, not having everything under control, or even doing the best I could or the best I thought I could, it wasn't giving me the results that I was thinking about. And that's mainly inside the fields. So it's mainly inside the vineyards that this happens, So it's something that we never really talk about when we drink the wine like we're doing today now. So it's something that the consumer, the average consumer, let's say, do not think about, because we don't teach them, because we don't tell them. And that's important, because we're here, we experience that. And when you drink a good bottle of wine, it's because the winemaker and the people that worked that wine were, of course, experts. So probably they studied, they did the good thing in the good time, in the right position, but also they had a little bit of luck, which I don't want to hide myself, let's say, and say that we're just really good and no, you have also to be lucky, and to catch the right vintage, because for example, we're now drinking 2023 vintage Barbera, which was really dry and really hot. So for certain wines like the one we're drinking, it was really nice vintage. The vintage afterwards, 2024, was really rainy. So you cannot be too angry with yourself or be too angry with the weather or with God. Otherwise, you'll not survive this world. So that's for sure. You have to put in your head that you cannot control everything. So as soon as you put it in your head, you will do this job in a better way for yourself, also as a human being. So if you're relaxed, you will be relaxed at home with your family, with your girlfriend, your boyfriend, whatever. So everything is connected, as we said before. So that's the nature is Mother Nature is really nice, can make you feel really happy. If you work with Mother Nature, also can make you feel really sad or really angry. So it's simply the world we're in. So
yeah. So how do you navigate caring for yourself amongst these conditions, from the brutal hot summers underneath the Italian sun to the cold, damp winters to the lack of control of so many aspects of what goes into the growing of the grape before you even harvest the grapes?
As I said, the beginning was a little bit difficult because you're experiencing something new. Well, I studied like 9 years this world, and then when you start working it, you first experience, you know nothing. Or at least what you knew do not work for a lot of different reasons that you still have to discover. So that was the first, let's say, frustration, because how is possible that this we studied at school and it doesn't work in practice? So this was probably, I'm talking about winemaking. And if you think about winemaking, you talk about the wine inside a stainless steel tank with temperature and pressure controlled. So already an environment where you can control a lot of stuff. And if you talk about vineyards, these variables are way more than into winemaking. So you learn quite early that you have to accept this thing. At least you have the chance to learn this. Then depends on yourself. So nowadays I can say, of course, when something happened like a hailstorm or something that a wine turned into a strange taste into the winery that I don't know, I don't really know the why this has happened, then this I cannot hide that this gives me frustration, but then I think I'm a little trained to keep that frustration out, to try to think about the cause that made this happen. And in my personal, as Alessandro, human being, in my personal experience, knowing the cause and knowing the facts that led one thing happen already helps me understanding. So helping me understand. So when I understand the fact, I calm down. So this really helps. So, of course, the fact that I have a background, the everyday studying, so learning about the new stuff coming about science or machinery really keeps you updated about your job. So a little bit knowing what has been happening helps me into settling down, calming down, and accepting the fate, accepting the fact that the nature has decided that our 10 days rain will happen in Piemonte. So that's something you have to accept it anyway, Of course, if it doesn't happen, it's better. But if it happens, you take it. So this is a thing that me personally helps me into accepting this not controlled thing about my job. Then, as I said, it's never easy. It's never easy. There are things that upset you more, and things that now I can let it go quite easily. But the more you go, of course, the more experience you put in your bag, the better it is. But that's something that we can talk about winemaking. We can talk about podcasts. We can talk about a little bit every kind of job and the life as well. So the good thing, I think, that helps you better is being open-minded in all the fields. So if you're open-minded, you can see a fact or an event with different perspective, and this helps you a lot accepting it. Because if you just see it by one perspective, then if that perspective is negative about the fact, you will be drowned down by this negativity. So the more you train yourself into seeing things by different ways, then I think the more you can accept this thing and have a better wine, but also a happier life, which they go pretty much
hand in hand
together, no?
Well, one of the distinctions that I make with the people that I work with is about embodied learning, which is quite different from rational understanding. So you can understand something. You can learn all the techniques. You can go to school and become that expert consultant, right? But there's something about rolling up your sleeves, getting into the vineyard, and actually experiencing it, the growing of the vine to the creating of the wine, how that is a teacher in and of itself that no textbook can teach you.
No, of course not.
So if there's one thing or a couple of things you choose that you feel that you have been taught by the grape, by the vineyard, what would you say that is?
Well,
thus far?
The very first thing that I have been taught, not really about the grape, but about the wine world, let's say, was then I go back with what I was talking about France when I decided that I wanted to do this job. The really first thing, because I was studying in Montagne Saint-Emilion, so nearby Libourne, in the Bordeaux area, which all the vineyards over there are flat, so there are no hills over there, no?
Which is quite different from here. For those who are not aware of how the Piemonte region is, you want to describe it for a moment?
Exactly. So here we are in Alta Langa, so the south part of the region of Piemonte, which is northwest of Italy. Alta Langa, as if we can translate it, means high hills of the Lange. High hills because we have average altitude between 500 and 600 meters on the sea level, with the top of this hill is 900 meters. We have a lot of, let's say, little canyons, like two major valleys with two rivers flowing inside, and a lot of steep exposures. So
quite different from what you found in France.
That's very, very different from what I found in France. So I was there for 3.5 months, more or less, seeing this landscape, which I like it very much, but so different. Then I came back, and I remember I was driving between Canelli and Santo Stefano Belbo, so almost home I was from the airport, and I've seen these hills like for the first time. I was born here, I was born and raised, so I've seen these hills. I look around, I was with my mother, I think, that day, and I said, I never saw they were so high. I never, that was...
Talk about a shift in perspective.
Yeah, that was probably the first time that I realized how beautiful this place is. So, and I still remember the feeling. So it was really like a surprise. And, at 17 years old, the guy is still a little bit thinking about football, AC Milan and whatever. So I was still a bit young that time. But really, that was the first time the wine world has taught me a lesson. And I put it into myself. So I wasn't aware of what was happening, but now I can tell that that was really when I decided that this was my passion, this was my life. So and let's say I was lucky, because as far from now I can say I have a road, which may change one day, I don't know, but avanti.
Okay, so we just had a little guest pop through, and now we're back to you speaking about what the vineyards have taught you. And you were 17 years of age and interested in what all 17-year-olds are interested in.
So that was really the first time that I can say now the wine world has taught me a lesson, and that I didn't realize back then, but now I can really tell it was the first lesson. So another time that this is a little bit more specific. So another time that the wine world has taught me a lesson was basically myself as a character. I was a lot when I was younger, impatient. So I wanted everything now, everything yesterday, And, that's something that is a little bit common with the youth, but I was really hating to wait. I was really hating to practice also. I wanted to be good at first. That was the thing. And making wine made me realize that I was wrong, because winemaking really teaches you that good wines need patience, Because if you think now, when you plant a vineyard already, we really start from the beginning. You plant a vineyard before you take the first grapes, which will not be good, or at least will not be best. The first grapes from the plantations takes 3 years. So 3 years before you will start to see if you did the good choice. And you'll probably be a bit more sure if you did the good choice after 6-7 years from the plantation. So you start to get good grapes from a vineyard from the fifth to the 7th year from the beginning. So already there always thinking about making a top wine, And from that, so you have 1 year of cultivating it before the harvest is coming. Then from the harvest, you do all the works into the winery, which we really love to hear about, which all the tourists love to see and love to, make their hands dirty, because it's the most common thing into winemaking, because everybody knows this part, and this can last from 1 year to 3. You don't know, because you have to practice with that grapes planted 6-7 years ago before, and so you have to do trials. Maybe the first trials you do with your wine doesn't work, so that means you didn't lose a vintage, but you practice a vintage to see if that result is a good result. So now it's easy. Well, it's a little bit easier, because after years of experience, and also I had the chance, I have the luck to have my dad and my uncle experience before me, where they said to me, look, this vineyards is not good with the project you had in your head, because they already tried that and they already had a bad experience. So it helps you a lot to listen to others people experiences, So let's say a wine world has also taught me that to make good things, such as good wine, but also in life, a good relationship with your partner, or a good friendship, or anything, even good work relationship with clients and the supplier, you need time, you need care, you need a little bit every day thinking about it, okay? We cannot be everywhere every day. That's also a thing that you have to accept. So we connect with the topic that we
acceptance
exactly with that we spoke about just a few minutes ago. But patience is really important, because otherwise, if you rush, you will never have good wine. It's gonna be decent, it's gonna be good, but it's not going to be the best. So if you're looking for the best, you need to give yourself time. You need to make something wrong, so to fail, of course. Before, as I said, today we're drinking a wine, and before we reach the recipe of this wine, we did many trials that failed, and now we are satisfied with the process we are doing with this wine. But it took us more than 5 or 6 years to find the right way the right way to take to make this wine that we're drinking now. So patience is important, acceptance is important, and those two things are things that the wine world has taught me. Yeah. And who knows how many are gonna come, because wine and nature and human relations are infinite. So we every day we will have a new one, and we have to make ourselves the best shape to get the most as we can get. But not always is possible. But we have to put our mindset a little bit in that way. And so patience.
So with all you have going on, all of those different things you talk about that you have to navigate, you have a lot on your plate. So what made you say yes to taking this time in your one and precious life to having this conversation today and participating in this expression?
Well, because now you're part of the family. No, I'm joking. Because I think you're a nice person, and because you got me the other day when you called me, and we were doing the same thing. So I was climbing a hill, so I was walking to reach a vineyard to prune. And you were walking, so I thought, oh, well, that's a coincidence. We must follow. And I never had a podcast chat. So when you said that, I said, well, why not? Let's try a new experience. So, I like to share the little things that I know about my world. I think we, as wine world, we have to improve this thing, so making the wine a little bit less elevate. So speaking it really simple doesn't mean you're a simple person. This is also a thing that I believe 100%. But you have to make it simple for people that they didn't study 9 years like I did. Otherwise, you will just create distance because you will elevate yourself. That's for sure. You will elevate your wine, but you'll elevate it with people that will not understand it. So, what's the point? That they will never have your language. They will never understand your words. So you have to change the way you talk a little bit.
To make it accessible.
Exactly. Thinking about who is in front of you.
Yeah.
So this is another way I never experienced to talk about my work. So why not? Trying it.
Exactly. So you don't just grow wine, but you also give tours. So if people actually listen to this and want to travel to Italy and meet you in person and experience this wine that I'm getting to taste today, I'm not going to mention the hour we're drinking, how do they find you?
Well, we are trying to improve this part of our lives and our job. So the tourism part is really important. Still, Piemonte is not the level that Tuscany is. So that's a pro for the fact that it's a little bit more real in my eyes. And we were talking about this earlier, and it's important that we keep that. Even if we grow in presence of tourists in the area, it's important that we keep the tradition, that we keep talking our dialect, that we keep our things that make us different. Otherwise, tourism in Piemonte, wine tourism in Piemonte is going to be the same as wine tourism in California or wine tourism in Germany or South Africa. Yeah. That's what's the point, So we have to keep this. And I'm not just speaking about varieties or winemaking ways. I'm really talking about the things we eat. I'm talking about how we speak. So I mentioned the dialect is really important. So it's nothing really that concerns about being nationalist. This is not what I want to say. The thing that I want to say is really we have to be open-minded in the world. So I speak English, I speak French, but I also speak Piemontese, and that's a very important thing. And
which I still have to learn.
Which we can do the lessons in English for me and in Piemontese for you.
Okay.
But so we have to how to say, we have to make these differences our richness, and to make people live the difference, so they can experience it, and they can like it or not like it. Sure. That's about them. But we have to be able to speak in their language about something which is ours, deeply ours, not just facade, not just on the surface. But so this is the major challenge, in my opinion, about wine tourism. We are developing it. We are doing way more tours and things about it without really promoting it, just because.
It's happening naturally.
Yeah, people find us on Google. People find us on our website.
So do you have a website?
We have a website.
Will you say what the website is? I'll include it in the podcast notes, but
is poderiroccanera.it.
Okay.
And they can also find, people can also find us on Instagram and Facebook. So Instagram is poderi.roccanera. And we are not very social, I must say. So I must admit, I'm a little bit old-fashioned that way. It's something that I struggle with, the social medias. And I think it's a little bit fake, because you just post what is best of your life.
Yeah.
If, I mean, most of people do that. So I don't post. So I don't post the good, I don't post the bad. I just post. Yeah, I just don't post. So, par condicio.
Yeah.
And I know I should do more, but people that come here then that know us, that they get to know better our personality, then they understand why we don't post. Because we think we have, of course, other things to do that take our time, but we could hire somebody to do it. It's not me, but it's not. Then it's not gonna be It's never gonna be real. So when we feel it, we put like 5-6 pictures per year. That's it. And algorithm and things like that will ignore us. And who wants to
welcome to the club?
Well, who really wants to find us can find us. That's the thing.
There's a resonance there.
Yeah. And so people that come here seems happy to have come. So that's the main thing that we like to express, and we like them to go back with a good memory.
Yeah.
Or that could be a good wine tasting. That could be a funny story that I told, that we told. That could be anything. Or a good slice of salame that we make ourselves, that they ate, and whatever. The important is that we catch that little light inside of them. We fire it, and so they will remember us. That's the most important thing.
Amazing. Thank you so much for agreeing to have this conversation.
My pleasure.
Well, hello, and here we are back again together. Oh, what a beautiful window into the world of a winemaker. And his profound wisdom, insights, and passion that infused our conversation left me absolutely curious about what I would experience when I returned home and listened back to our conversation. And I have spent many days re-listening and sitting with what unfolded. Every time I hit play, I'm hearing something different. And what I love about that is it is a sign that the conversation is multi-layered and very much alive. It was, as I had mentioned in the intro, a real and raw conversation, and I had no idea what would come from it. What I have come to realize is how it's a rare thing to be allowed into someone else's world like this, to get a window into a perspective that's still unfolding. And what a humbling honor it was to sit with Alessandro and listen to his story thus far, while he is still navigating what it actually means to be a human being. I think first and foremost, what was most striking is his humility. Here is a man with 5 generations of history behind him and a decade of his own life already in the soil, and he considers himself a beginner. He's been taught by the vine that you don't master nature, you simply partner with it. There's a staggering kind of patience in that, planting a vineyard and waiting 7 years just to see if you made the right choice. It's a beautiful reminder that if we rush, we might get something good, but we'll never get the best. The best requires you to actually step off the riverbank. You have to get in the water, feel the cold, and trust the process of the growing. And what a beautiful and unexpected take on self-care. Radical acceptance. Deciding to stop negotiating with the weather conditions. If the rain comes, it comes. He's learned that fighting the uncontrollable is just a weight that keeps you from being relaxed at home. I love that. By accepting the weather in our lives, we protect our capacity to show up for the people we love. The challenges don't break him. They just wore away everything that wasn't necessary. As our conversation was coming to a close, he said something about the algorithm that has stayed with me. He'd rather be ignored by the digital world so he can focus on the person standing right in front of him. He's looking for that little light inside a person to fire it up, so they leave his cellar feeling a little bit brighter. Oof, did that resonate with me. It's similar to my experience of staying in this conversation and the multiple expressions that have been created over the years since its initial inception. That's why I'm in the laboratory for days at a time. I'm not looking for reach. I'm looking for that light in each and every one of you. So I'm really curious, what stirred in you while you listened to our conversation? I invite you to look at your own life with those fresh eyes Alessandro talked about, to realize that coming home is really about the perspective you bring with you when you arrive. So in the spirit of breathing room, just as a good bottle of wine needs breathing room before you drink it, we do too. And ever since I announced the pause of the weekly cadence, I've been discovering so much. So in the next episode, I'm going to share with you some reflections on what I'm discovering in that breathing room. In the meantime, please reach out and share with me anything and everything that unfolded in your experience while listening to this special episode. As always, I've learned a lot in the creation of this one. I look forward to when we meet again, and thank you for tuning in. Until next time.
If you are interested in working with me on any level of body-mind well-being, whether it be through individual body-mind maturation work sessions, perhaps participating in a series, individual privates, or through my video on-demand services, if you have questions, if you would like to engage on any level, feel free to schedule a free 15-minute consult in the appointment section, www.christianpiano.com, or email me directly at growth@christianpiano.com.